Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Technical Forum of Hydrogen and Fuel Cells Europe at the Hannover Fair 2022. We're here again and it's haptical everything. I'm so happy about that. I guess you also. We have lots of great presentations, and the next presentation will be about inline systems for mass production of coatings for hydrogen technology, bipolar plates for fuel cells and electrolyzers. And we got the general manager of PVT Plasma and Vakuum Technik GmbH, Dr. Gabriel. Welcome him with a great applause.
Thank you very much for the kind introduction, Mr. Jekyll. I'm sorry, first of all, that I hold you back from lunch, okay? Sorry about that. But I hope also that you learned something today about a tiny fraction of the production of bipolar plates. And we are only talking about coatings for bipolar plates, and only about coating machines doing it in mass production. My predecessor has already talked about recycling, but first we want to coat these things before he's going to recycle it. Now, in this project, many companies have been involved or are involved, and I have a number of co-workers which are involved here. And I want to give you first a little bit history, what we are doing, where we are coming from. Our company was started in 1985. We are located near Frankfurt, south of Frankfurt. Who wants to visit us? It's just half an hour from Frankfurt Airport. We have worldwide about 200 employees. And we are now working in this field, coating bipolar plates for the last 7 years. The scope of our business has always been the development, the design, and the manufacture, the development of coating processes, coatings, and then the design and manufacture of coating equipment. And we provide to our customers turnkey solutions. But we also do job coating to some extent. Now, the processes we are applying are all vacuum coating processes. And in the vacuum coating processes, we are using different types of vacuum coating processes like arc evaporation, magnetron, or two special processes like, does this work? Does not work. These two special processes for magnetron sputtering, but also plasma-enhanced CVD. You see here the parts which we use to coat. Now, fortunately, such coatings which we produce, like titanium nitride or titanium carbonitride, or also DLC, which are applied to cutting tools, can also be applied to bipolar plates. In the past, and also at present, and this is our core business, we manufacture equipment, yes, and you see here typical batch type coating equipment which we manufacture. And here, one of the largest pieces of equipment we have built before we entered really into the coating of bipolar plates was this piece of equipment where we can coat 2 tons of weight broaches for making gears. Now, I come to the subject of bipolar plates. I have not to explain, what bipolar plates are needed for, but I want to go into the requirements which are, set by the Department of Energy, and these requirements which we see here, yes, require very complex coatings in the nanometer and half micron range, up to half a micron thickness, yes? And again, we apply different processes depending on the materials we evaporate. And I want to point out that in this field, there are, for coating bipolar plates, basically 3 groups of materials. One, the very first one was gold. And another one is metal nitrides, but not only metal nitrides, it's always in combination with some noble metals. And the third group, and this is a newer group which is in the development now, is the DLC, and here specifically the doped DLC. Now, for these applications, we have developed two different systems, and you see here, the system called IL35000. This is a three-chamber system where the frame runs into a pump-down chamber, basically, then in a coating chamber, then it runs out in the next chamber. And in this system, we can do up to 1 million bipolar plates, but this is, I would say, semi-industrial system. It's not for high productivity. While the other system you see here, down here, a rendered picture, yes, where we coat 5 million bipolar plates a year. And unfortunately, I forgot at our booth, C30 Bipolar Plates, I would like to show you the size. The size is, maybe my colleague is around, he might get one so that you can see it, the size, the real size. It's about 500 millimeter high and 130 millimeters wide. And what we do is we rack them on a frame, and we put this frame through the chamber, and every 5 minutes, such a frame leaves the system. Now, we have two different concepts realized in these two different systems. On one side, we coat in the large production system, basically stationary. We have the opportunity to wobble a little bit, to get a good uniformity for these plates. And the other system, the smaller system, where we have a really dynamic process. That means we have several sources which give different materials onto the bipolar plates. We are wobbling in front of the sources back and forth, and can do very many different multi-layers. Now here, I have to say, this was a concept in 2016 we have developed this concept, yes? And we had several requests for this system, but as you know, there are waves in this technology. Sometimes people tell you there is a high demand, and you go forward, and then they say, we have canceled the product, or we have no business case, or blah, blah. There are many, many issues, why things in Germany cannot be done. And this is a criticism I really have, yes? But we have decided, we go forward, and finally we got an order from one of the customers who really go into real production. We are not talking about trials or something like this. No, we are going into real production. So we have created this system. It has a frame of 3.5 meter length, 1.5 meter high. We can put on one frame, 69 pieces of this size here, for roughly 450 millimeters by 130 millimeters. And we deposit about a 900 nanometer coating on there. And we produce 5 million bipolar plates per year in 250 working days. Now, to give you some more details about the system, because you need space for such a system. And this is just the space you need for the system is, it's about 3 meters wide. It is more than 25 meters long. It weighs 60 tons, has 30 pieces of turbo pumps. I'm mentioning this because there is also a supplier of turbo pumps in the round. We need 40 power supplies, etc. We need a total installed power to run this system of approximately 450 kilowatt. And again, here you see schematics, of this system. And I have to say, now, how does the system look like? It has 4 chambers. I go back. It has 4 chambers, basically, pump down chamber, coating chamber, and venting chamber, yes? And in these chambers, different things are going to happen. So in the first chamber, we pump down, we heat, and we etch, maybe, we have the option. Yes, I don't want to go in the other details. In the second chamber, we do the first coating, because all coatings for bipolar plates are not single material coatings. These are either alloys or nanolayers or multi-layers and. So it's a fairly complex technology concerning the coatings, and one must have the knowledge for this. In the third chamber, we do another etching process and another coating, and in the last chamber, we do then the cool down and the venting. Again, I have to say, every 5 minutes, a frame like this is leaving the chamber. Now, I have to come to an end, as I understand, because it's ringing here. You see here the complex display of the system with the many pumps, with the different chambers, etc. But now here you see the reality. Yes, this is not a rendered picture anymore. This is in production. Yes, and you see here the backside of the system. You see at the end of the system, 2 persons, 2 people. The system is fairly long. You see on this side here, you see the big pumps, because you have to be very fast when you do every 5 minutes such a frame. In this, you have to pump down the first chamber, you have to etch in the second chamber, you have to etch, and you have to do the coating. So this is a very, very fast process. This is a production process. And then you see, of course, all these pumps. Unfortunately, we have problems with the delivery for our next systems we have on order. And gas distribution, etc. You have a look inside the system. The system, despite the fact that it's a 4-chamber system and it's a small system concerning the width of the system, we have to provide, it's a tall system. It's up to 3.4 meter high. We have to provide extremely good access. One important thing here is, I don't want to go on to the explanation. One important thing is the cost per coating, per blade. What is the cost per blade? And depending on the material you are using, it's between 0.5 and a little bit lesser than €1. As I said, 450 millimeters by 130 millimeters each blade. Thank you for your kind attention, and please visit us at C30 if you have any questions. Herr Jäckel, hat's gepasst?
Wahnsinn! I'm fascinated.
Thank you
Just a second, at least a few seconds. Thank you a lot for your so much captivating presentation.
Thank you so much.
So energetic. We have no more time for question, but really thank you,
C30.
Dr. Hermann
C30.
Gabriel.
Take care. Thank you.